Is it working? Oh, it's working. Double check we can see it. Hello. I finally got it to work. This took embarrassingly so long to get it to connect. Does everything sound good though? Because I never streamed on here before, so. Okay. Loud and clear. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know how all of the audio and stuff's gonna sound, but it did take me literally the last 40 minutes to try to get this to work. Oh man. Well, we don't really have an update per se. Like I was looking on Google and there's nothing really new, but I was just eating my breakfast and I was looking over things and discussing some things with my mom because she also follows the case and just cases in general. And I was like, you know what? I was going through the comments. I'm like, I just want to chat with everyone. Like, I'm sitting here chatting with myself, basically. I think it's more productive if we can actually like chat back and forth. Love the lives. No, I mean, I have no clue. I don't think anyone does. I think something we have to remember is that a lot of people that don't really follow a lot of Canadian cases, they're much different than the American cases. Hey, New Brunswick. Canadian authorities act a lot different, where I find in the US they do a lot of interviews, they'll do a lot of press, they'll like leak a lot of information or just talk about a lot of evidence found, whereas in Canada they're just very tight-lipped. Oh, you're from Truro. I have family out in Truro. I want to go one day. I've never been in Nova Scotia, but it's a beautiful piece of land out there. But there's just so many people that go missing out there for some reason. Yeah, it really has been brutal, Jordan. Even when I'm at work, literally this case is all I've been thinking about. Hello. I can only be on here for about an hour because I do have to get ready for work after, but if you guys like this, maybe we can do more of these. Yeah, there's a lot of young men that go missing in Nova Scotia as well, and just in the maritime in general. Your first time, I've never seen. No, well, okay. So I started out being a live streamer, not on YouTube. So I've live streamed before, but I've never live streamed on YouTube before. So this is the first on here. I've never ever live streamed on YouTube, which is why it took me 40 minutes to try to figure out how to set up my OBS to YouTube Studios. It was a little confusing, but we're here now. What is your opinion on the stuff while they're asking? Expert polygraph test. I mean, it depends on your opinions on polygraph tests, honestly, because they are hit or miss. There's ways that you can cheat a polygraph test. So I don't know how accurate they truly are. I think it's a good tool for authorities to use to kind of gauge. I don't think it's a good piece of evidence, though, because if you're good enough at it, you could, pass a polygraph test. That's the thing, even if you are guilty. Also, guys, I don't know how to use any of the stream stuff, so especially since I'm using it through OBS, I don't know if it's different if I go off the YouTube thing. So if you send or do whatever on here, I might miss stuff. Newfoundland, yeah, a lot of kids go missing in Newfoundland as well. A lot of people in general, not just kids, honestly. I'm in Ontario as well, Kimmer. Sorry, I'm trying to catch back up to where I was up there. I missed a few. Live streaming the OBS is tough. It is definitely a different art. Yeah, it's definitely different. Completely different than setting up a camera and just recording and editing. It is fun though. Like I said, I used to do it. I did it for a few years. That's how I was able to travel around a lot in my early 20s. So I'm not completely, it's not like a completely strange thing to live stream, thankfully, but it's strange doing it on YouTube though. This just does feel a little weird. It's fun though. I like being able to talk to you guys directly instead of having to sit here and go through comments. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on comments here. Halifax is the #1 city in Canada for human trafficking. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, especially it being near the ocean. I feel like that kind of adds to it. Being truthful. I don't know what to think about either of the parents. We don't know much about the mom. She left right away, basically the next day. I've heard rumors about where she could be, about why she left. I haven't seen anything exactly solid as to why she left. There's the rumors that there was a fight that went on. Let me know if that's true or not, but I heard there was rumors there was a fight went on, so they were asked to leave the property. That would make sense why she blocked him maybe. But again, we don't know anything like for sure. We just know that Daniel came out and said that he was blocked, so polygraph tests. So I do have the stuff up about the party. My mom told me about that this morning because she's up before me, and so I don't know where I had the party stuff. Did I turn it off? Oh, here it is. So do not take this as fact, because here's my thing. This is the only way I was able to find these screenshots, and I know someone on Twitter has the screenshots as well, or X. I still call it Twitter. I don't know if this is true. Wait, I don't have my cursor being captured. I don't know if I can. How did I change that? One sec, guys. Display capture. Let's see if this changes. There we go. I don't know if this is true. I've heard about it. My mom told me about it. What do you guys think about this? Here's my thing. We don't know for sure when it comes to just messages. Anyone could send these messages unless someone has come out and like on video been like, yeah, I wrote this message. I live right here. How do we know that this is true and not just someone trolling? You know what I mean? Okay, that's what got me. When I read this, I was sitting here reading it. I'm like, they live 500 feet from me, Who, as a Canadian, actually types out the word A while texting? You may say it while you're talking, but who says it while they're writing? That just bothered me. I mean, hey, anything's possible, but it just seems like someone trying to impersonate being Canadian. So I did see the video as well. I haven't actually watched it through. I have it here. Maybe we can watch it. Of the birthday. I finally found it on this person on TikTok, Abby, has it. I've had a hard time trying to find it. What are you talking about, A? Right? You say A in text. Okay. So it's possible then. So it could be real. I type out A. Okay. I just don't think I have, unless it's like ironically. Okay, so 500 feet we can. I have Google Earth up here. So Google Earth is a little bit different than Google Maps. You can actually, I have a few things I pulled up this morning that I was staring at. Hey, let's go back. Where's this? Let's look at this just first. So it says, I have to wonder if they'll ever be found. Truth. They live 500 feet from me. I don't even know the kids live there at all. I thought it was a drug house. See, I don't know. It just seems too perfect that someone's saying this stuff when that's kind of what everyone's speculating about. East Coast would say A more than West Coast. I think so too. See, I know I'm in Ontario and I live in Toronto, obviously, so people in Toronto sound more American than elsewhere in Canada. Like I talked about in my videos, when I say about, I can hear my Canadian come out. I can hear my own accent. Um, but I have family in northeastern Ontario, not in northern Ontario, but northeastern, that I've talked about that live in the middle of nowhere, just like where this case took place. And they definitely sound more like stereotypical Canadian than I do. So I know people can definitely have different dialects in Canada and speak differently. So, especially in Nova Scotia. So I could see it being like that. This is this. Yeah. Yeah. From the photos, I mean, some people just live rough. Like, I will say, I do have family again that lives in northeastern Ontario, and ooh, it's hit or miss. Some of them live in nicer homes, and some of them live in something that would look like this, maybe. I haven't been to those homes, but I have family members who have been. And you could describe it as that. Is that good? No. Albertan. It kind of depends. Isn't Cody Albertan? And he just sounds American to me. I think it just depends. If you're from the city, like if you were from, I don't know, like Edmonton or something, you might not have as much of an accent as like outside of the city. I think that's kind of how it works. Calgary. Yeah, see? Like, and he just sounds American to me too. Like, you can hear it in the vowel sounds, because that's what my in-laws make fun of me for, is my like house and out and stuff, but I feel like other than that, it's not as stereotypical Canadian. I don't know, Melody. I don't know where they could be. No one really does. Obviously, everyone can speculate, but younger must be a random front accent. Are you from Pennsylvania? That's where my husband's from. He doesn't sound Canadian at all, though. Midwest definitely speaks kind of Canadian. Like if you're thinking like Minnesota, even Michigan. I have friends in Michigan and I've been there, and his dad sounded very Canadian. I was actually like, are we in Canada? Yeah. No, I haven't watched any of those, Tony. I feel like it's hit or miss when you're looking at body analysis. Like everyone can react differently. I will say, like, obviously there's so many comparisons to other cases. So there is a lake nearby. We can look at that in a moment. But when it comes to these messages, it's like, I don't know. I've heard that the person has come out apparently and said that they regret putting out these messages, but then who were these messages sent to? Where were they posted? It looks like Facebook Messenger possibly, or something like that, just the way the bubble is. And the fact that they said there's all these cars there on Wednesday or Thursday, and that's kind of around the time the kids weren't in school, that's what's making a lot of people speculate, and then going on about their assumptions of like people sharing crack pipes and blah blah blah. It's like, it kind of is too perfect to kind of what the rumors are right now, but at the same time, I mean, people like to gossip, so I mean, it could be a neighbor. So let's jump over here because people are talking about the lake and the 500 meters. So this is Lansdowne. Let me just put in their address here again so it pinpoints it. When we're speaking about, oh my God, it went away. Okay, Google Earth is not my friend. When we're speaking about where this is, like, you can see how rural this is. It's right in between basically New Glasgow and Truro. And it's in the middle of nowhere. It's all woods. Speaking in the past tense can be a red flag, yeah. Nearby. My volume is maxed. Let me see. Can it go up one more notch? No, my volume's maxed everywhere. So the only way I could do that is turning up, like, I don't know, YouTube volume. Okay. Yeah, I have it all maxed on OBS and everything. It's kind of almost peaking sometimes, so. Yeah, I think some people don't realize how rural it is. It's super rural. Like when we go down to where the actual house is, you can see it's just all woods. There's a house here, and then there's a house down here. Those are the closest two homes. Google Earth has this thing where you can measure distance, which is pretty cool. So we can see that's about 300 meters, and this one here is about 450. So could be this house down here, the neighbor speaking about it. It could even be this person's house and they're just guessing. I feel like someone over here would probably hear partying or noises more than this person for sure. Like, this is pretty far away if you're actually like down on the ground. See, I don't know when the birthday party happened because I can't find the original video for the birthday party. I don't know if they're in school Monday or Tuesday. There's rumors that they were in school on the Monday, but then again, it was apparently a teacher that said that. I haven't been able to find that. If you guys could tell me where to find it, we could try to find it, but I haven't been able to find it. Like, I haven't seen like a teacher go on the news and be like, hey, the kids were here that day. That is true. That is true. If you've been into rural areas like this, it's very quiet, so noises do echo. You would be able to hear stuff. This is pretty far, though. It's like, can we drop? I don't know if we can drop down on Google Maps here. I might have to go over here because I have Google up. If we drop on the ground, like, it's quite a ways away to go down here. You could maybe still hear it, but yeah, I've heard a lot of rumors about the biofather too. I haven't been able to find him anywhere, so that's where the house is, the nearest house. So maybe possible. I feel like that's too far though. I feel like the other house you'd be able to hear, but you never know. Depends how loud the party is. House for me too. Grade 1. There's nothing. There's really nothing. Another thing that I find interesting is, since we're on the ground here, is the abduction story. This is the trailer that so you can see the trailer from the road, right? Let me double check we're at the right trailer. Yeah. I'm like, are we? There's only one trailer. So you can see the trailer from the road. Again, this is in 2018. Keep that in mind. So this is outdated by like 7 years, this footage. However, I can't tell you what the speed on this road is, but it's probably decently fast. It's kind of like a highway that you call it in the States. And if you're driving by, see from this distance, you can't see the house at all. And just speaking, I don't drive, but I've driven with people in the country before. People, yeah, 80, 100. People also don't drive the speed limit in rural settings like this. They usually drive faster. So if you're driving by this house, you can't see it from this distance, and you're going, say, 80, 100 kilometers an hour. You're just catching a glimpse of it, maybe for a second, and then it's basically gone. Like, given this is 7 years ago, so the trees might even be thicker. You're not going to be seeing it. Then again, it is... I will pass you. Exactly, right? Again, it is... This is September, so the trees are probably more dead because it's still pretty cool there. All these trees aren't grown in. But if you're going that fast past here, it's not like you're driving in the city where you could like slow crawl around this corner. People are just going to go flying through around this corner. So what are the chances that even if there were kids standing here, that someone would have been going slow enough that they would just be able to stop, see the kids, and decide to kidnap them? Unless they were walking on the side of the road, if they did wander this way. I mean, if they did, someone might have seen them, stopped. Kids have gotten kidnapped before, but the chances of them being in the yard or something and someone just seeing them, I don't think it's as possible as people think when you actually look at the actual location. As well, yeah, there was the major hurricane, so I know there's a lot of issues with the trees being down. Yeah, and their whole life they've lived in the countryside as well. We talked about that when I was speaking the video. There's not much here, obviously, as we can see. So even if the kids did wander, where are they going to go? There's not really anywhere to go. Somewhere in here, You can't even see. You can actually see, because this footage is probably newer, you can see all the trees that are down. These little sticks. These are probably all downed trees. You can see them all in the woods here. Probably from the hurricane. All throughout here. This here to me looks like it could possibly be like a four-wheeler trail. Let me know what you guys think. When we go down here, it could just be an access road that people use. I don't know how far their property goes, but I know up where my family lives, there's tons of four-wheeler trails like this. Like, people take their dirt bikes and four-wheelers like through the woods like this. And that goes pretty far back, whatever this little road is. You can see it all through here. It goes all through the woods, all the way up into here. Like, it's a pretty long trail, whatever this is. Could be for hunting. You never know. There's another one that kind of goes this way. Power line route? Possible. Yeah, I could see that being a hydro line road. I don't see the hydro lines per se, but we might not be able to see them from this angle. Yeah, I'd say I probably cried more when my cat, speaking of cat, my cat's scratching in the litter box. I think I probably cried a bit more when my cat passed away, but again, they could have been crying all morning. They were just out of tears by the time media got there. It's possible. Basically no hunting. Yeah, that's not true. That's true. So you guys were talking about a lake. There is this lake back here, Lansdowne Lake, down the street. There is a home on it. I don't see any other homes on it. Oh, there's another one over here. So there's 2 homes on it. And it does go to the road here. So if the kids did fall into this lake, I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Let's see. Go back to here. We can see how far away it is. So it's about 759 meters. Let's see what, here, I have meters and kilometers here. So about 0.7 kilometers. Possible kids could walk that far. Hydroland, that makes sense. The thing with this is, if it is true what Jack was wearing, what bothers me is that he was apparently just wearing a diaper. So as a 4-year-old in a diaper when it's only 10 degrees Celsius out, going to walk almost a kilometer to fall in a lake, I don't know. That's something that gets me, is the outfits they're wearing. There's no speak of their jackets missing. There's just speak of their boots, right? Rubber boots, a diaper. And then Lily was most likely just wearing possibly like a pink sweater of sorts, like a pink outfit and boots. Yeah, the diaper gets me. They haven't spoken about any other clothes for him missing. And I feel like if a 4-year-old walks outside and it's only 10 degrees Celsius out, they're going to turn around in the yard because they're cold. I know kids don't feel cold as much as adults do. But it's like, would they walk that far? I don't know. Well, everyone's guessing that the only reason we have outfit descriptions is because the items were missing. There was the backpack, the boots are missing. And then other than that, it seems like it's maybe what Daniel claims to have seen when Lily was walking into the bedroom a few times that morning before they disappeared. But they never seen Jack. Jack was in the other room. So it's just assumed he was in a diaper and his boots are missing. Every time we say sorry. Sorry. Yeah, it could definitely be neglect. Another thing I looked up, because I was curious, is it was said in the initial information that they searched 3.5 kilometer radius. So I was curious how far that was. And just, if this is true, just look how far this is. So it's about 3,500 meters. So that's about this far. If it is true what they're saying that they searched. Do you see how far that is? So a radius of this. It's somewhere like this they've searched from that home. So that's like almost twice as far from that lake. That would be through all of this they've gone through. All of this kind of area. And do you see how dense some of this woods are? Like, the darker it is, the denser it is. Like, that's dense. And I know across the street as well here, it looks like there's some marsh. Some kind of, yeah, a bit of a river marsh area on the other side of the road. But I'm sure they've been through all of that. That's very close to the home. And if it is true that they searched the 3.5 kilometers, that's a lot of land that these search and rescue workers did. No wonder they're exhausted. Like, the fact that they called off the search and they searched that far and didn't find them, that's basically why they're calling off the search at this point, it seems like. Like, that's far when you actually visualize how far they've searched. And I know some people are upset that they are calling off the search, but the thing is, they said that if they didn't find him in this area, they don't feel like they could have walked farther. And look how far that is. Like, how far we're zoomed out right now. Like, look how little the house is even from this distance. And to go all this distance, 2 little kids, in any direction from that house, like, we're still going. Look at all the trees that are fallen. Still going. Like, if they didn't find them in that distance, I can understand why they're saying that they're calling it off and scaling back the search. That's a far distance to search and not find these little kids. Not one piece of evidence of these little kids. The 4-year-old wearing diapers, I don't know. I'm not a parent. I can't really say. I know my mom said that my little brother would wear diapers to bed because sometimes he would pee the bed. But he wouldn't wear them during the day. I know some kids do that. Kind of just depends, right? 2-year-old made it 7 miles alone on foot. Was it in dense forest like this? So let's see what 7 miles would be. I'm not the greatest at converting. So 11 kilometers, that's far. Let's see. 11,000 meters. Holy. Let's see how far that would be. Damn, that would be like halfway to New Glasgow. That's so far. That's a good question. Michael, some places like that don't have garbage days. You have to take your garbage to a dump or you burn your own garbage. It kind of just depends. Let me know though, guys, if you live in areas like this, because I feel like up where my family lives, they don't have a garbage day. They just take it to a dump. Like, they take it themselves. They have a garbage collection. Okay. It's different everywhere, so that's why I ask. Oh, thank you, Donnie. No. I was just converting it because someone said, someone was talking about miles, so I was curious what the difference was into kilometers. Yeah, I do find it a bit odd as well. The story's not lining up. That's why I talked about it a lot more in the second video. I don't think it's... My headset just turned off because I'm not listening to anything. I do find it odd that their stories, yeah, they don't line up. They're a little bit different for sure. The one thing, this is what I keep saying and I keep responding to people, I would love to know, and I hope police have already done this, all I want them to do, let me pull this up, wait. I didn't get to show this in the videos because I didn't have this. I got sent it afterwards. Let me see if I can find it here. So this is a photo. Ooh, I lost it. This is a photo of the trailer where they went missing from. This is this back door that everyone's talking about. What I wonder if police have done, and I hope they already have a long time ago, go to this door and open and close it and see if it is truly silent. Because the whole narrative is the door is so silent, no one would have known that the kids went out it. Is it silent? I feel like that could easily disprove the story. I grew up with them. Ooh, interesting, Slanko. You're from the area as well, Maggie. 11 kilometers, especially in a diaper with it. I could see in the summertime, maybe plausible. But, Bryn, truly, 11 kilometers in a diaper when it's 10 degrees Celsius out, I don't see that. I just don't see it. It was a chilly day that day. Like, I pulled up, where is it? Where did I save it? Sometimes I save things in the wrong spot. Here it is. I went to the weather and looked at the weather. So it was 10 degrees that day. Or 12 degrees that day. But that was probably the peak of the day. So it could have even been closer to that 1 degree low in the morning when the kids went outside at 10 a.m. Kind of just depends. No trails. So that's another thing that gets me is that the canines stopped in the driveway. That's what it was said, right? One of the early articles that the search dogs didn't go past the driveway. Why would that be? And again, I don't know how possible it would be for, where did I lose it? For someone to actually be driving by here and just snatch the kids from the driveway. Especially at the speeds people drive. Even if the kids were just standing here, unless they backed up and then somehow lured the kids in. However, from what I'm being told from this video here, which I haven't heard yet, but Lily is screaming in this video and she's very loud. So you'd think if these kids were getting snatched up, there might have been possible screaming, and you'd think you'd hear that. Like, you do see how close the trailer is from the road. You'd think with how quiet it is out there, you might hear someone screaming outside. Like, yeah. It's not far from the road at all. But again, when you're driving past here, how much are you seeing if you're going, 100 kilometers? Like, just from this little bit, you can't see the house. Again, this is all grown in right now. I'm sure it's not as grown in real life at the moment because of it's still spring. Trees are budding here in the city, but I mean, anything's possible. Again, if they wandered onto the road here and someone was going by, they could have backed up or seen them ahead of them and slowed down to be like, what are these kids doing? And there's definitely been, I did see someone mention that a black SUV creeping the area. Yeah, if they were shown a puppy, or they could have been told like, hey, I have puppies at my house, come. And apparently they were very friendly children. They talked to everyone from what the parents have said. It's possible. I covered a case that happened here in Toronto where there was a gentleman, I say gentleman, he's not a gentleman, but a man who was a PDF file. He was not registered, not caught before anything, but he was watching CP on his computer, TV, whatever, all day. And finally decided he was going to act on his impulses. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly here. And unfortunately, a little girl was just walking by at that exact time. He decided to step outside of his home and he snatched her and he did awful things to her and he killed her. And it was just wrong place, wrong time scenario. So it does happen. But that was in the city. That was in Toronto. Again, the chances someone was driving by at the perfect time in an area like this, I guess it's possible, but it would have been, you know what I mean? Like, perfect storm situation. Maggie, I don't know. So I found his Facebook. It's pretty easy to find. And for what I'm being told, he's older than her and that she's much younger than she looks. Daniel's 33. Okay, he's only a couple years older than me. Do we have any idea how old she is? Not that it exactly matters how old they are. Not all stepfathers are bad. That's what's so hard. I have a very lovely stepfather. I'm very lucky. I have a very, very sweet stepfather. Not all stepfathers are bad, But obviously we have 2 missing kids here, so it's a different story. A fake call about a suspicious vehicle could be a red herring. Yeah, that is true, actually. That is true. And if there was just a suspicious vehicle, police might not have come out. There's tons of cases or situations where if you call the police about something, they don't come for hours. Like, it's definitely not like they just show up on the scene immediately. I have heard that about the mother as well. But I've heard that she's only, like, it was just her grandfather or something. Like, she's not, like, 100%. Not that matters. But, yeah. I don't know for sure, though. You know what I mean? They definitely, yeah. News definitely does downplay, when the Indigenous go missing. But these kids are definitely, even if they are apart, they're definitely white passing, if you want to call it that. So I don't think that would have been an issue, like if you're thinking like racism or something. That's the hard thing. But here's the thing, guys. I know we talk a lot about RCMP and stuff on this channel. My cat is trying to get into a box right now. Rue. But I think we need to give credit where credit's due, and they've really pulled out all stops in this situation right now. Like, they definitely have. Batman, how am I being racist? How am I being racist? I don't think the RCMP is not doing their job. I think they are in this instance. Especially when you compare it to, especially when you compare it to all of the other cases that we've seen where the investigation isn't actually done, where there is nothing being done. We have to say, all stops are being pulled out here compared to it. So I think it's kind of wrong for us to say that the police aren't doing anything in this instance when there are so many other cases where literally things aren't getting done. Yeah, I've seen people saying that the mom's a bit more sus. I find it, so the thing is, if this is the stepfather's property, I can see if there was apparently rumors about a fight happening and that's why the mom left. I could see why he'd stay, because again, it is his property. But we obviously don't know. The Batman. I can tell you as well. I agree. We have so many cases we talk about here on this channel where police don't, do enough. Obviously don't do enough. But in this instance, there is definitely stuff being done so far. Smitty, do we have evidence of that? Like, has there been the police come out or like news articles or anything that say that CPS entered the property and deemed it unlivable? I could see it happening just from the state. Another thing I really wonder, so we talk about this yard. Apparently this yard is fenced in. I don't know if there's like an exit, maybe here somewhere at the bottom that you can go out. But there is play stuff out there. So if the kids did go outside to play, like there is stuff to play with. So why would they just decide to wander into the woods? Yeah, a lot of people are assuming off the house looks for sure. People can just live messy. Some people are just not clean individuals or just organized individuals. There is gaps in the gate. I wonder if it's like here that you could go out. At the bottom here, we just can't see it. We don't have a good shot. Let me see if there's another shot of it that we can see something. Oh, geez. I'm clicking on stuff. Here, possibly? Like somewhere right here by the playhouse and the shed, the chicken coop. I think that's what they call this. How do we know that the kid's dog went missing? Mm-hmm. So I find it interesting, not that it means side of the house. Not that it exactly means anything, but if you do look at Daniel's Facebook, he has two other kids that are a little bit older, not by much, from Lily and Jack. Um, and they look like they're well taken care of. Now, given it looks like they may live with their mother, because all the photos I've ever seen weren't at this property. They're at a whole different property that looks nicer. We could just say it looks nicer than this property. Um, so those kids look like they're well taken care of. It's just interesting in contrast. Um, it seems like, yeah, like Slanko just said, like, they look like they're well loved and everything. You obviously can't just judge that from a photo, but it's interesting to see the difference. Pointing fingers. Well, the thing is, authorities said they didn't want locals interfering, just because, especially when you're searching in woods that are like this dense, you can get injured very easily or go missing, and then the authorities are going to have to, change their search for the kids to this person that's injured or missing. So it's just complicating the search, basically. They only want people that are qualified going in there. Oh, thank you, Pixel. Yeah, authorities don't want anyone just going over here. So please, if you do live in the area, don't just go over to this house. You'll probably get in trouble. Don't recommend that. It is, yeah, it's dangerous terrain. It's not like they're just searching a city or searching like a lightly wooded area of sorts. This is dangerous terrain. And especially on the other side of these trees, there's a swamp of sorts, like a marsh. So you can get injured. Yeah. It's sad. I've heard a lot about people not enjoying Nova Scotia. It's such beautiful land. Like, I love wilderness like this. Thanks, guys. I have to be conscious of the time because I do have to work soon. So I'm looking at the time, like, okay, we still got about half an hour we can chat. Search and rescue. Yeah. We need search and rescue out there. The dogs stopped at the driveway. Is there dogs on the property though? I haven't seen any dogs. It would make sense that they had dogs out there. Ticks everywhere. Yeah, there's ticks. Definitely ticks. Yeah, any body of water a kid could drown in. Anyone can technically drown in, I guess, depending on if you're conscious or not. He loved bugs. Yeah, I heard he loved bugs. The search dog. Yeah, the search dog stopped at the driveway here, from what we've been told. That was in pretty early on. They said that. So did they stop at the driveway because that's just where the kids would always stop when they'd play, or did something happen? Were they taken somewhere in a vehicle here? We have to remember, just because it stopped at the driveway, it wasn't like, okay, that was the last second that they were there. It could have been scent that was left there from a week ago. Like, you don't know. The dogs can't determine, sniff out between, a scent from a day ago or a scent from 2 days ago. Yeah, everyone seems to think the parents did something. I'm not ever going to just come out and say, unless we have solid evidence, that, yeah, they did something. I think it's possible. Anything's possible, especially with all the cases we've seen. There's so many cases out there right now where people definitely think the parents did something. Summer Wells case, Sebastian Rogers case, those two cases in particular. Even Dylan Eller, that's another case that happened not far. It was in Truro, not far from where this case takes place. There's a lot of cases out there right now that are unsolved, where children have gone missing and the parents' stories or the adults that were with them right before they disappeared are questionable for sure. Poor Dylan. Yeah. Dylan's case, like, I think about Dylan quite often. I really wonder what happened there. There's just a lot of these cases that are unsolved years later still, where the stories are like they were there 1 second, gone the next. Like the adult turned around and then the kid vanished, and it's like, is that really happening? Like, it's possible that kids do run off and, don't survive the elements, etc., especially in rural areas. But then there's other things that just make me question, like, is it really possible? Like, it's a story, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Parents' argument, how they split them up. I mean, it could have been anything, honestly. If they're out here, the police are there, they start arguing back and forth about their stories or like what happened. They get frustrated, emotions are high. Maybe I've heard rumors her family had shown up. If her family's there, his family's there. The family started bickering, maybe about something. Police are like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible that it could have just been something as simple as that. Emotions are high, tensions are high. It could just mean nothing. Like, we can't just look at everything and say that was definitely evidence or, says something. I think it's good in situations like this to kind of play devil's advocate with it. Like, yeah, it could mean something, but also, yes, it couldn't. Were the kids found? Is someone trolling? Because I really don't say anything. Don't troll about that. Please. I mean, some kids, I don't know, that's the thing, Mama Morgana. All kids are different. I guess some kids would wake up and be like, I'm starving. Other kids might decide to just go out and play. Some kids you have to force to eat. And we have to remember, so the narrative goes, it seems like they had just woken up. They were super groggy. They were laying in bed with the baby, whose name is Meadow, from what I've seen. Around 18 months old. I think she was born in December, if I remember correctly. I've seen photos of her birth. Not the actual live birth, but like I've seen her like plaque. People do like plaques when babies are born. I think it was December time. So around 18 months old or so, 16 months old I've seen. They were laying in bed and they seems like they were groggy. Mom was going in and out of sleep, kind of. They were feeding the baby, and they heard the kids in the other room, which apparently could be the kitchen, which is next door to the bedroom. According to Daniel, Lily kept coming in and out of the room or was in the doorway, kind of different versions of that. Stop spamming chat. And then the house went silent sometime after that. And so Daniel got up and looked around, looked in the bedrooms, looked outside, couldn't find the kids, started driving around the area while Mom started calling 911. I've also heard multiple stories about the 911 call. Did she call from the home or did she drive somewhere and call the home? I don't know. Or call from the home, call the police from somewhere else. And then Daniel was going through the bush, getting wet. He was wet up to his waist or something, like driving around. And then he returned back. Police were already there. That's the story we know. Okay. So the thing with the autism that I think is kind of getting confused is, from what I've seen, the parents have said that the kids may be autistic. There's no diagnosis, okay? No diagnosis. However, they did clarify in early statements that the kids are only possibly have autism relating to school. So like they aren't learning as quickly as the other students possibly, but they're verbal, it seems like. They're very friendly. They love to talk to people. They're normal, quote unquote, normal kids through and through, except when it comes to school. But this whole like autism thing seems to be thrown out there. The parents threw it out there, but then they clarified that it was only with school. But people, I don't know if they missed that fact. It kind of reminds me of the Sebastian Rogers case where everyone was like, oh, he has these issues. But then when you really dig down, his dad was like, well, no, like he's pretty normal. Like, I think that's kind of getting thrown out there where it makes it sound like they are high on the spectrum, where it seems like even if they are on a spectrum, which again, they're not diagnosed, they're super low. And it's just something with schooling, which I've seen someone suggest possibly, again, we don't know, Maybe they just have ADHD or something. Because again, the parents are just throwing that diagnosis out there themselves. So actual parent. Well, the mom left. That's why Daniel is on so many interviews and has so much news footage surrounding him, is because Malaya, that's her name, she left like the very next day on the Saturday. They went missing on the Friday, she left on the Saturday. So, and apparently the grandma, I'm assuming it's, actually, I'm not going to assume anything. I don't know which grandma it is. It just says the grandma might be Daniel's mother. Could be Malaya's mother. I can't remember. She said that they were informed by police not to speak to anyone. So if she did leave, she's not speaking to anyone, where Daniel's just constantly on the news because he's staying at his property here apparently, and that's where they're searching, and that's where all the media is. So they just keep re-interviewing him. Is the real father in jail? We don't know. I haven't been able to find anything on the real father. I've heard suspicions of it's this person or that person. I don't know. I've never seen anything official. Drugs and kids. I tried to look up Daniel on newspapers.com to see if there was any historical newspapers. It's from like 2023 or something, 2024 back. I was just curious, honestly, because I've found information on individuals through that, like local newspaper reporting. And there was someone related to him that was in the news, but nothing about him or her. So it's really hard to find information like that in Canada. A lot of it's not public. My cat on the bed there. It's not like in the US where you can just search up someone's like criminal records or their mugshots or something like that. That's what makes it hard with Canadian cases, is you aren't able to access as much stuff. You don't get as much information. I am really glad, though, that a lot of big channels have covered this case and picked it up. That's pretty rare for a Canadian case, I will say. Like, we always see it with the US cases when someone or a child goes missing, but we don't see it a lot with the Canadian cases. So it's a good feeling to see that there are, especially the US creators or just creators out there that have big followings spreading the word on this. And then when you consider that, so a lot more people, it's getting out there too, how much police activity has happened here and they're still not found, not one piece of evidence has been found, that's where it's concerning. Yes, Canadian info is so private. Wish we could get some body cams, interviews, interrogations. I wish. I am for that information being public. Yeah. I do like how the US does that. I think some people would disagree, especially if you wouldn't want your own information out there. But I think when it comes to people committing crimes, if you don't want the information out there, don't commit the crime. It's kind of pretty simple, but Ring camera. I doubt we would get that footage even if they had a Ring camera. I feel like people out here don't have Ring cameras as often as you'd think, though. When you live in areas like this, a lot of people still leave their doors unlocked. I don't know. Some properties do have security cameras somewhere, but it's not the same as like in the city where every single person's going to have a Ring doorbell camera compared to in a rural area. Usually there is some kind of, people do have like security cameras on their properties or like trail cams, stuff like that. Oh, I seen someone talking about a job. Apparently he works at like a sawmill of sorts where they do woodworking. I've seen it on, it's on his Facebook as well. I'm not going to pull his Facebook or anything up right now, but it's on his Facebook. He has a job at like a sawmill of sorts. I'm not going to dox him like that. Like, he still has to go to work. I don't think that's appropriate. Even, you know, again, we don't know if he's guilty or not. He's gotta, you know, people still have to make a living. It's really hard, like someone just said, to get a job here in Canada right now. RCMP doesn't provide info on any ongoing investigation. Yeah, they don't. Even if the investigation's like 20 years old. That's the honest truth. Yeah, you think they would have found something, especially the fact that there was the backpack and the boots. You'd think you'd find something. You'd think the kid would get tired and take their backpack off after walking that far. I mean, there's nothing in it, maybe not, but some kids can be kind of lazy, you know what I mean? They don't want to carry stuff like that. If you post a porch pirate on your door cam and cops will come and arrest you in Canada, honestly, I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. Like, the censorship and just, yeah, law in Canada is something else. Diagnosed. It could take very long to be diagnosed with autism, ADHD in Nova Scotia. I heard someone say different. They were, if anyone knows Dolly Vision, they were on he does like a call-in segment I was watching yesterday. Someone called in that they said they live in Nova Scotia and they deal with the schools, and they said that the school there has very good testing for stuff like that, but it seems like the parents didn't get any testing done. I don't know. It could just not have been mentioned. Again, it's all in context, right? Like, they mentioned it, but maybe they were in the process. We don't know. Yeah, would have had their scent in the woods. That's something that gets me. Especially since Daniel said that the kids go into the woods quite frequently with them, but then there's no mention of the dogs going any distance into the woods. There were these structures that were shown. I don't know if I can pull it up. Let me see. I don't know what footage it was in though. Yeah, I don't know where I have it. Sorry, there were these structures shown. I had it in the last video where they were built in the woods, and he said that the kids would go out there with him to these structures and play. And they didn't seem like they were too far from the house because they took the reporter in there, which I was like, interesting. But did the dogs track to there? I'm really curious. There was no mention of that. I mean, here's the thing. Again, Canadian police don't release much. So maybe the dogs did track there, but then they just didn't say it. That's the thing. We're just working off what we know. Yeah, there was shelters. They weren't really shelters. It was just like some sticks built up, though. Three years. They blame ongoing weight of COVID. Honestly, Jen, I wouldn't be surprised. Things take so long here. Like, so long. See, is the party a real thing? That's what I question, because yes, we have, where do I have it? We have these messages. Is this a real message? We also have, sorry, there's another message. This is where people are getting that CPS went to the home and all of this stuff. Did this actually happen? We're going off of what this person said. So I've seen these messages that were sent, but then it's like, who's April? Do we know she's connected for sure? Like, I'm not just gonna blindly believe a random message like that. I've never heard of that incident, Ron. Local to this, and people are saying there's a rumor the kids haven't actually verified be seen a week before. Well, I'm curious. So there was talk that a teacher came out and said that the kids were seen on the Monday at school, or Lily was seen on the Monday at school. Is that actually a teacher? That's the thing. Like, we have all these rumors, but is anything verified for sure? Like, we could all anyone could just go out there on Reddit and make a post and say, hey, this happened, when they live on the other side of the world. That's the problem. I can understand we don't have the correct timeline. It really does remind me of the Summer Wells case in that way, where it's like there were adults there, there was other kids there, and then Summer just walked out of the house and decided to wander into the woods after living there for her entire life. just one day decided, and there's no sign of her anywhere. Very strange. That's what that kind of reminds me of. It's the same thing, obviously, with Sebastian Rogers' case. He went to bed, and then mom woke up in the morning. He's just vanished. Given he was older, so I can see him, actually be able to survive and get somewhere. And he lived in kind of a rural, quote-unquote, area, but it was more of a suburb. Like, there was definitely lots of stuff around. Yeah, the statements are interesting. The stories are interesting. For sure. Like, they really are. I'm going to pull up another photo of the property. So this is the other view of the property. Ooh, I lost you guys. Give me a sec. There we go. Because apparently back here, it's possible I've seen that grandma and a brother live. Again, I've only heard that as rumor. If anyone knows if there's actual, like, it was on the news or, like, police have said. Employee, we have never been allowed to talk about students outside of school. I can see people breaking those rules. But then again, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I could see definitely teachers not supposed to be talking about that stuff, especially like attendance and stuff like that. That seems like some kind of break of confidentiality of sorts, You'd think that they would have been found if they were on the property, though. Like this, yes, it's a big property, but it's not that big of a property with like how much law enforcement presence has been there. I'm sure they've searched this stuff. Like, there's one trailer, there's a shed back here, there's a chicken coop here, which also, if we look from this angle, so the sliding door would be about here on this side of the building. So the kids would have had to probably go all the way this way to get out, which is near where this trailer is too. That's all this is. It's all connected. Because it seems like the rest of it's pretty fenced in. So I'm sure they've gone through all of this and checked. I'm sure they've had the dogs walk all through this. Now, have they brought cadaver dogs out? That's I'm not 100% sure on. But you'd have to think it's been this many days. It's been not below freezing, like consistently freezing there. So you think there'd be a smell, unfortunately, if we want to go there by then. See, police can smell that smell. Like, they're used to knowing what decomp smells like, for lack of better words. So you think with how many people have been around there, they might have noticed something by now? There's only one cadaver dog in Nova Scotia. Jeez. It's crazy itself. Missing. Taking them. Coops and sheds. Yeah, apparently Daniel went outside and was looking for them before he drove around. And Malaya called the cops, so... You think if they were just somewhere right here, they would have found them. That's what I think, Angie. Like, I've talked about it. Like, I have cousins, again, that live in rural Ontario, and to this day and age, with how many generations, none of them have just gone missing in the woods there. They're all very conscious of the dangers. Yes, some of them do go and play in the woods, but they know they're only supposed to go so far, and they come home. And, like, as you can see from these photos, so a lot of it isn't grown up yet. So you can see through the woods pretty good there in places. And you got to think, if this little kid's only wearing a diaper and boots, he's going to get scratched up by this brush trying to walk through it at all. I even remember, actually, I was thinking about this. I remember when I was a kid at my my grandparents' property, we would go into the woods sometimes, but I would only walk as far as the stone wall that was there, and then I would know I'd have to turn around. And it wasn't, I couldn't tell you now as an adult how far it was in, but I knew if I was to go into the like the backyard of the property, I could only go that far and then I'd turn around. And if I was going to go any farther, I'd always go with an adult. But every kid's different. Obviously, we don't really know. It's normal for kids to build camps in the woods. Yeah, I wouldn't say that strange. Kids love to build forts. No way is sliding door silent. I really am curious. Like, I just want to see a video of someone opening and closing this damn door. That's what I want to see. Like, is it actually silent? It looks, I mean, we can't see it in person, but it looks like it may be a newer door. Might not be that bad. The porch looks a little bit rickety, though. Divers going in the lakes. Yeah, I mean, I think they should search the lake. We looked at... I have so many tabs open here. We looked at the lake. There's a lake right here, Lansdowne Lake. It's not too far from the property. It's about... I wish I could change the... Oh, we can! Guys, we just learned something together. Okay, we got kilometers. So it's about 0.85 kilometers away from the property, or about 0.75. Let's say about there. That's where the nearest lake is. There's some other ones you can see by this property. There's one over here, which would be a little bit farther. But if the kids were to go out, let's see. So they would have gone around here, basically, I guess, to go out. I could see them going this way into the woods then. So it would be in that kind of direction. I mean, a kid, again, we don't know. But, yeah. That's the nearest lake. This is a big looking lake. You can see how big it is on the map. So if they were to fall in that lake, yeah, it wouldn't be good. Animals are hibernating or waking up. There's a lot of animals that could live in these areas too. A moose. I mean, deer are kind of dangerous, but I don't know if I wouldn't put it past it. Like, I think if a, here's the thing. I think if a deer injured the child, we probably would have found them. But moose, those are pretty vicious. Those are big. Cougars, mountain lions, if they have any of that kind of stuff around there. Bears. That lake is not that deep. I don't know. Looks like it could be decent. I mean, a little kid could definitely drown in that, guys, if they sunk. Here's to say, if it isn't that deep, then the divers should be able to find them if they're in there. Let's just put it that way. I know. I hope that's not the case, obviously. Said my mom. I hope they were just stolen. Yeah. That would be the best case scenario, that someone out there has them and they'll be found. They'll be brought home. It's possible. I mean, I don't know if police were... I don't think they were stopping any major roads or anything at that time. So if someone did snatch them, they could have driven and gone. Like they could have just been gone. Like, let's say they did notice right away, instantly they were snatched, and police didn't do anything. I mean, we can zoom out. Like, how far would it be for them to get even to, like, Truro area? Only 42 minutes. Like, within the hour, they could be gone. They could have went all the way over here. This looks like it's a ferry, probably. Only half an hour away. Caught a ferry. I don't know why you'd go to PEI with the kids, but you know what I mean? Like, when you really look at it, like, how close is it to Maine? About a 5-hour drive to Maine. If nothing was blocked, you know what I mean? Like, word was out pretty quickly, but 6 hours, that could have been in the US. And this is all rural too. Like, this is literally nothing in here. So when you look at stuff like that, it's concerning. Not that you can just get kids into the US nowadays. That's more something that might have happened in like the 70s or 80s, but it's not like you can just sneak a child in. But this is all, like, all of this is just rural. Like, all rural. Coyotes will always worry me more than any other animal. Yeah, coyotes for sure. The thing is, I think if they were hurt somewhere close to home, an animal got them, you'd think after searching, again, how far were we? Oh, we got way too far. Let's go back to our location. Oh, where'd it go? Here it is. Remember, they searched allegedly 3.5 kilometers around the property. So around there. All in a whole circumference. You'd think if an animal had attacked the kids, they would have found something. It was raining for some of those days, so if there was blood, possibly it could have washed out. But you think they would have found some piece of them if they were attacked by an animal, like a bone, maybe the backpack. The animal's not going to eat the backpack, you know what I mean? Or the boots. You think they would have found something out there. But they haven't. What time do you have to work at? I'll talk for 4 more minutes, okay? We'll cut off at 3:50. Thank you for reminding me, because honestly, I'm like, oh crap. I could honestly sit here and we could talk for hours at this point. This is actually quite productive. But unfortunately, I gotta pay bills. There would be, yeah, that's the thing, Sugar. I think even if there wasn't, if rain had washed it away, I think they would have found stuff like backpack, clothing, diaper, something. An animal's not going to eat a whole backpack. Especially a coyote. They're not going to eat a whole backpack. Snatch the boy, but the girl's too big. I mean, you never know, right? Like, you never know. Animal attacks do happen, but I think they would have found something. Call in sick. Unfortunately, I am an important member of my team at work, and I can't just call in sick. I gotta get people drunk and feed them food. But we could do this later if you guys do enjoy this. It wouldn't be till very late, like 1 a.m. Eastern, but we could do this later if we really wanted to again, or tomorrow before I work again. But I'm off all next week, so we'll have some time, more time to chat about things. Mysterious other brother are not that wild. We only have brown bears. I mean, a bear attack can happen too, especially if they're waking up hungry. But again, I think, is a bear going to eat a backpack? Like, animals know the difference between actual food and something that's not edible. It's not like bears are big, but are they just going to swallow a whole backpack? I don't know. They would leave a mess. That's what I think, right? Like, a lot of people bring up animal attacks when people go missing, but then I'm always like, why wasn't anything found? Not one thing, one piece of information. Here, big. They were found in the lake. See, people are saying that, but it hasn't come out yet. Like I said, I wouldn't be completely shocked, because if they were to get to there, like, how far is it? Oh gosh, I'm all the way. Okay, let's go back here. How far is it just walking here quick? That's only a 12-minute walk. Like, that's not that far away, this lake. If we obviously can't get into the lake, but like 20 minutes, a kid could definitely do 20 minutes. Yeah, it's over here, so they could walk through all this woods. I don't know if that's the lake they're talking about, but there's no other lakes nearby that I see, unless it's like these people's property. And then there's also marsh across the street. Yeah, that's an adult and a 6-year-old, but even an hour. But then here's my thing. The police were called immediately. I don't know. I guess they had a lead. Longer in the forest for sure, especially if it's a little kid in just a diaper. This is dense woods. He'd be so scratched up. 2 bodies, yeah. So here's the thing. If there is something that comes out, we can chat about it tonight, because I do have to get ready for work. Nothing is out yet when I Google, obviously. There's nothing on Google. Google's usually pretty up to date when something comes up, like the algorithm with it. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get to that, but apparently there's a video here where you can hear her. Unfortunately, I do have to get off though, guys, because I have to go to work. But if maybe we can do this again later if we want. Yeah, if you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button if you do want to chat some more. So that you're notified when I do go live. Yeah, let's really send out hope that they are found alive somewhere. Anything's possible, but enjoy your evening. I hope so. I hope I'm not I'm not too tired at work, but yeah, I'll talk to you guys all later. Again, when I get off this video, it'll pop up where you can like comment if you want to comment. If you want to chat later, we can chat later. If not, we can wait to see if there's more updates, because obviously we're just sitting here chatting about what we do now, which isn't much at the end of the day. Yeah, I hope you have a good day. Thanks for joining me, and let's send out love for these kids to be found. Bye, guys.